Hi, I'm Brad Case, Homes.com's chief residential economist, with one thing you should know about the homes market. This week it's geopolitics and interest rates. Mortgage rates declined during most of 2025 and the first 2 months of this year, mostly because inflation pressures seem to be easing. But rates stopped going down at the end of February, and the biggest culprit was the sudden increase in inflation following the attack on Iran. That brings up the question whether an easing of tensions in the Middle East could boost the U.S. homes market by bringing mortgage rates back down again. Unfortunately, even if we get good news on Iran, mortgage rates may not fall below where they were before the conflict started. And part of the reason is federal fiscal policy. Large and persistent budget deficits mean that the U.S. Treasury has to keep issuing bonds to fund the government's debt. And with that much government borrowing competing for investors, that means that everybody else who wants to borrow has to pay more. Now that includes home buyers who face higher mortgage rates, but it also affects the supply side of the market as well. The inventory of existing homes offered for sale has increased, and that helps keep prices in check, but higher financing costs make construction more expensive, and that means that builders are hesitant about starting new projects. In other words, interest rates are still the central constraint, and that's not likely to change even if the situation in Iran resolves quickly. Higher rates don't seem to be preventing owners from listing their homes for sale, but they do boost the monthly payments that buyers face, and they're preventing builders from supplying as many new homes as they otherwise might. Geopolitical headlines may change sentiment, but long-term borrowing costs are still being boosted by the federal government's borrowing needs. What that means is that even if we get good news about Iran, home buyers in this country are likely to see only gradual improvement rather than any sudden boost in affordability. I hope that's helpful. For Homes.com, I'm Brad Case.